Adam is the founder of Songbook PDX. Get yourself around to that reading. Yeah. A quarterly music-related reading series. Adam has 2 daughters that make his jaw go funny when he sees them. Oh. Adam Strong is a proud member of Dangerous Riders in Portland, Oregon. Please welcome Adam Strong.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Donnie. And Tom, so the first time I met Tom was at Woodstock in 2006. I've been at the table for almost 10 years, and he critiqued my piece in a room of like 400 people, or I don't know, I'm always hyperbolic when it comes to names. But it was like he reached into my heart and like was talking to me on a really personal level in front of all these people, and it was like, afterwards he said, hey, how can we do this every week? And he's like, come to my house, and I'm like, wait, what? And I go down to his basement, and there he is, and he completely changed my whole direction of where I was heading, and he made me a better writer and a better teacher. I'm a high school teacher, and all the things that Tom has taught me about compassion and being a person who feels things, I've really taken it to heart. So, Tom, thank you. I love you. This is an excerpt from my novel, Bella Vista. The explanation would be too long, so I'm just going to go right into it. I think I'll follow it just fine. We're in 1980, and it's New York. Dad's car looked like a picture I saw on a book once. A bone white whale lying on his side. There were tools to kill this whale, poles and sharp tips, and all of these things were covered in a dark red. And that red was white. All that red inside a white whale. That color of red was all over the inside of Dad's white Chrysler Cordoba. The seats and the carpet were the color of whale blood. Dad had to go through this whole ritual before he started the car, check the headlights, check the levels of oil and antifreeze, even record the mileage down in his notebook. Once he did that, he got his hand, the knuckle and thumb, and pressed down on the big Chrysler key, turned it into the slot below the steering wheel. The quick roar of the engine starting up. His hand next to me pulled the level from R to D. Violin music met up with the cold of New York City. It took a few minutes for the heat vents to blow out warm air. Dad and his can't-hold-it-back half-smile, the 2 of us in the Chrysler Cordoba, we didn't just drive, we glided into the big city. We took the Gowanus Expressway to the Upper West Side, Manhattan and buildings so high I couldn't see the tops. He turned into this brown brick parking garage and slid a car into the slot of a big yellow box with a light on top, and this board with orange stripes lifted up and let us in. And we drove down a few floors, and Dad had to turn on the lights, it got so dark. We followed the curl of the road down a parking spot on the bottom floor. With the engine off, we both unbuckled. I got my body over to the side by the door. So before we go upstairs, he said, there's one thing you gotta know about. I was going to tell you upstairs, but there's so many reasons why I can't do that. What's around us but the squeal of tires, the heartbeats of hundreds of New Yorkers above us balancing their balance sheets. All I wanted was Dad to show me his office. I wanted to see his work, meet his boss, have the secretaries call me sugar. Years of I promise, and then he takes me into the city, but we're still stuck here inside this parking garage. And there was something about Dad that was different, the way he held his body up. He didn't fill space down here the same way he did above ground. It was like he had something hiding in his pocket, but he wasn't ready to give it to me yet. And that's exactly what was going on. Dad was sitting on this thing that was going to change us, only I want to go upstairs to adding machines and typewriters, conference calls, and the little pink pads that say, while you were out. There's this thing I'm working on, Dad said. And the folks upstairs, they can't know about it. I've done things I'm not proud of. It's all for the good of the family. What I got from Dad were these little snippets not connected to the big thing. What I wanted was everything else. What's going on, I said. Dad then lets out a long breath, and his breath let out the thing he was holding on to. It's all for Miami, Dad said. He might have felt lighter about that for a second, but his body was doing this thing where 1 second he was relaxed, and the next he was nervous as I'd ever seen him. What's for Miami, I said. The little person inside of me wanted to stay quiet, but I needed to know. I've stolen clients, he said. He had his finger on the whale blood fabric of the ceiling. He wasn't talking about the roof of the car. He was talking about the 4 floors of his company all the way up there. I'm turning their clients into my client. And Dad leans over and sticks one long index finger out and presses it hard on my chest so I can start my own business. He stuck out his jaw and a little bit of his teeth showed. So when we're upstairs, he said, if anyone says anything about me taking too long to sell a client, you don't know a goddamn thing, understand? And there was a crack in Dad's voice when he said it, like a rising volume. And Dad was so worried, his face red like I've never seen. Dad's white collar was soaked with sweat, and we weren't even outside the parking garage. Miami, the name, the buildings, the palm trees, lots of water. I swear I saw flamingos rising up out of the dashboard of Dad's car. Dad, just talking about Miami made his voice have this dreamy glow. When Dad spoke like this, he was like Mom painting a portrait with words. His mom's a painter. Think about it, kid. Warm sun, no more cold winters, he said. With enough clients in Miami, I'm gonna be the guy between North and South America. Me, the middleman. We're gonna be rich. In my little kid mind, I saw Dad's white sweat-stained shirt in between the continents of North and South America at a diner somewhere having lunch. Dad and his hand over my knee was supposed to be some kind of comfort, but his sweaty hand wasn't giving me any. I wanted to go upstairs to his office. I wanted a glass of milk. I wanted a corn dog. I played it cool. I thought I was playing it cool, but I didn't really know what playing cool was. I did my best in the elevator on the way up. In the lobby, the flags were so high up they made dizzy sick inside my stomach. In the elevator, it was me and Dad and 6 of his coworkers around us with all the things they didn't know. And I wanted to hit the stop button and get off in between floors. At floor 26, the ding of the elevator made the elevator doors open to walls the color of sand. Dad's work, hair away. We went down hallways, we walked by people that said Frank and kept walking down the hall, and there was the sign on his door that said Frank Herschel's Sales. Dad opened the door and I go over and sit down at his desk and I put my feet up and I lean back and the chair gave out a large squeak. And the chair was cool and all, but I was all about the view from the big picture window, the brown of the East River with tall buildings all around. From up here, I could buy and sell the world. Dad was looking out the window too, trying to see what I saw. It took a few seconds for us to tell there was a guy standing in the doorway. I'm guessing he was a higher up because his suit and tie were about 10 times nicer than the one Dad had on. Dad's red tie and the dark sweat stains cover his shirt. The Richardson deal has gotten way out of hand, the guy says. Are you going to close him? And Dad coughed a few times and turned to his desk and opened drawers and started pulling out papers, but he can't find the sheet he's looking for. Richardson just needs a little more time, Dad says. He's going to get close. He's so close, Barry. I just know he's going to close. I'm getting shit from upstairs, the man says, from Philippe. Then there's this weird pause where Dad has searched every drawer and still can't find that file, and he goes over to the file cabinet on the other side of the window from where I am, and Dad is looking for some kind of receipt, anything to prove he's still trying to land the client, but there's nothing. He'll close it, I said. I coughed a little. It had been so long since I'd spoken. Dad always comes through. Philippe is the boss. Dad told me about Philippe's corner office, his cigars and port all day long. I don't know what port is, but I know it's a drink, and the more you drink it, the more powerful you become. Whatever I said to this guy must have worked, because there was a smile on him like Dad put it on there himself. This man does something with his fingers I don't understand. He looks over at my dad and rubs his thumb and index finger together, and when he left, his smile was gone, and he didn't even look back. Dad there was still nervous, still with the sweat stains on his shirt, but he had a big old grin on his face. I owe you one, he said. Thank you.